I wanted to share my 5-step algorithm that I use in the clinic when I'm answering the phone. Now, I have a clinical team, I have an administrative team, so I'm not usually the person answering the phone. But one of the most important elements of success in private practice is developing systems that allow any person on your team to produce extraordinary results for the activity at hand. We're going to talk about answering the phone. We follow a 5-step algorithm. Step number 1. When the phone rings, before anyone in the clinic answers the phone, they look at the caller ID. They want to see, is this a patient that's expected to come into the clinic in the next 10 minutes on the phone? If it is, we can safely assume that patient's probably calling because there's a conflict. They're trying to reschedule, they're trying to cancel. Is it a name that we don't recognize, but a name of an individual? We can safely assume that's probably somebody calling to schedule a new appointment. We're going to approach that very differently. Is it an insurance company calling on the phone? Is it a spam call? Is it a call for something that's just going to waste our time? So step number 1 is we look to see who's calling. Step number 2, if we recognize the name on the phone, so let's say it's 9:47 in the clinic and my 10 o'clock patient is the person calling. When I see that, I immediately go into my reschedule mode. I look at my schedule. Even before I answer the phone, I usually have my schedule always open on a computer. There's a computer next to every phone in the clinic. So what I'm looking for is if my 10 o'clock person needs to reschedule, can I reschedule them for the same day? Can I reschedule them for another day during the same week? If it's a Monday or a Tuesday, there's a chance I can get them on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday if they're not already scheduled for that day. I want to then think if I can't get them scheduled for the same day, I can't get them scheduled for another day on the same week, is there an opportunity for me to bump up the frequency for the subsequent week? Now, that's something that I could address over the phone right now while they're calling, or it's something I could address when we're face-to-face in the clinic. I would tell you, you probably have a better chance of getting them in for an additional day next week when you're face-to-face in the clinic, because that's when you can have an honest conversation. You can better understand their response or their reaction to what it is that you're recommending. Now, once I've gone through those 3 steps, try to reschedule for the same day, try to reschedule for an additional day that week, or try to add them on for an additional day in a following week. Then I start to look at my schedule to see, is there anyone else I can move into the now vacant spot? If I have individuals that are doing non-covered maintenance in the clinic, are any of those individuals appropriate for a covered visit today, right now? If I don't have those individuals in the clinic, or if you guys don't even know what that means, let me know. I'll record a separate video about that. But if I don't have somebody in the clinic that I could reactivate for a covered visit, is there somebody that's coming that I can move to an earlier appointment? Is there somebody that's scheduled for a session maybe tomorrow or the next day that I can move into today? My top priority, whether I'm a therapist or an administrative person, is to try and optimize the available time we have. Even if there's a spot on the day that's more crowded, I might look at decrowding that area by moving one of those people into an earlier time slot, like the time that I have available right now. You know, depending on your community, depending on where you live, most of our patients live within 10 to 12 minutes of our clinic. So if I call them and say, hey, John, I just had a cancellation at 10 o'clock. I know it's in like 7 minutes, but I would love it if you could come in now instead of later, because there's a lot of people piled up at that later time. And if you come in now, we're going to have more one-on-one time. Whatever it is that your clients value, that's what you want to be able to deliver. But the idea is the better you can optimize your schedule, the more you can reduce those cancellations and no-shows, the best chance you have to maintain and protect the profitability, which then allows you to deliver a better quality service and patient care experience.